Born of nuclear radiation and destined to walk the earth forever, welcome to Godzilla Reviewthon! What's up, YouTubers of the world? Make a Geek Mixer here, ready to give you guys the 21st installment of the Godzilla franchise, Godzilla vs. SpaceGodzilla. Alright guys, so here it is. This is where we are introduced to one of the two strongest opponents Godzilla has ever fought in the Heisei series. Now bear in mind, there's a lot of lists of people who will say who's Godzilla's strongest opponents. But I will say that for this installment and the next installment, we were introduced to two of his strongest enemies, meaning they're on that list of strongest as the strongest. Well, that's a video for another day. But even still though, I do like this movie, just not that much. I will say that this film is like a filler film, just like Godzilla vs. Mothra Battle for Earth was. But even still, I will admit this one's better than Godzilla vs. Mothra. But let's go ahead and get right into the story. It's all about a monster from space called SpaceGodzilla who was mutated by Godzilla cells that got trapped inside of a black hole. And G cells went into space through two ways. One was from Biolante. After fighting Godzilla, his spores went up into space. And as you know, Biolante is a combination of Rose and G cells put together. The other theory is that during Godzilla and Mothra's battle and Battle for Earth, Godzilla's cells got attached to her and she traveled up into space. Now, both of those theories are actually pretty interesting, and to be honest though, I would say the Biolante one fits more in the description, mostly because of, you look at how Biolante looked in its crocodile form, and you look at SpaceGodzilla, you can tell they both have tusks right there in their mouths, so I look more in that theory. But then, of course, there was also the fact that Mothra made a brief appearance and bringing out fairy Mothras that came out to warn the people of Earth, mostly Mickey Sagusa, and the image of the cosmos about SpaceGodzilla's coming. And speaking of Mickey Sagusa and the human plot of things, humanity's still trying to go after Godzilla and try to kill him. They have two ways of doing it. First, they have the Mugera, which can separate into two vehicles. You got the Land Mugera, a tank drill, and then you got the Star Falcon, a fighter plane. And then the other one was Project T, where Mickey Sagusa would use her psychic powers to control Godzilla when they plant a telepathy amplifier at the back of Godzilla's head. Now, of course, both plans go sideways. For one, Project T trying to control Godzilla with Mickey's psychic powers. Mickey already tried using her psychic powers once before against Godzilla, and that didn't work out so well. So of course it's not going to work out again. I mean, it worked out briefly, but you guys seem to forget Godzilla's will. Ain't nothing gonna control that guy. Nothing. But as for Land Mugera, at first it was supposed to be used to face Godzilla, but with the terrible threat of SpaceGodzilla, Mugera, which was supposed to destroy Godzilla, was used to fight SpaceGodzilla, and he fought him up in outer space at first, which, first off, let me say the special effects in the asteroid fields was bad. They just stood there. Like, asteroids don't just stay there. They are floating around and stuff. But even still, in that space battle up there, SpaceGodzilla just pretty much beats the crap out of Mugera. And as for Godzilla, well, he and SpaceGodzilla eventually meet up. But first, Godzilla has to save his son, Little Godzilla. Yeah, and this one, Little Godzilla has now grown even bigger than what he was as Baby Godzilla. And he looks a little more like Minion in this one, but even still, I'll say that he looks even better. He still looks better than what he would have been if he was Minion in that film. But yeah, and Minion at first, when seeing SpaceGodzilla, was a little curious, but as you know, sometimes curiosity can kill a cat, and he almost got killed by SpaceGodzilla. SpaceGodzilla was attacking him. But luckily, Godzilla came and saved his son. But still, their first battle didn't go so well for Godzilla. That was mostly because he was trying to protect his son from getting hit by SpaceGodzilla, which he did. But in the process, his son got captured and imprisoned inside a crystal prison, and after which SpaceGodzilla went over to Japan, and Godzilla in hot pursuit after him. And eventually, as they made as they all made it there. First, you got Space Godzilla, who lands in Fukuoka right by the Fukuoka Tower and made a crystal fortress of everything just everywhere. But what I still didn't get was when some of these humans were on the news report were saying so many buildings were being destroyed. I'm like, but Space Godzilla's just standing right there. Now, in no minds am I saying Space Godzilla wasn't the best villain. He was a great villain. Design wise, though, it could have gone with something better. Even still, though, yeah, I don't know what you were saying when you said so many buildings were being destroyed. I mean, sure, they got destroyed by all those crystals that popped up after he landed, but still, And either way, though, Mugera and Godzilla would go to Fukuoka where they would fight him. At first, the fight's one-sided. They can't really beat him. But thanks to Godzilla using his head, he figures out how to beat him. He first destroys some of the crystals, but then realized he must destroy the Fukuoka Tower. Yeah, and knowing that, Mugera separated into Star Falcon and Land Mugera to help Godzilla destroy the tower. And once doing that, it was pretty much easy for them to beat him. First, when you needed just Mugera to shoot off those crystal shoulders so he wouldn't absorb more energy, and then Godzilla finishes all the rest with its spiral heat breath, destroying it along with Mugera. Now that's not saying Godzilla didn't see Mugera as an ally. Then maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Here's the thing: after Mugera had shot off Space Godzilla's shoulder crystals, Godzilla got mad, like pissed, and he just used his tail, swing it into the stomach of Mugera, and just sent him flying through all those buildings before Godzilla was finished him off using his spiral heat breath. But after him being destroyed, little Godzilla was free, who actually had developed new powers of his own. He's learning his atomic breath in the form of small little bubbles. But hey, little Godzilla's growing up. And that's pretty much the film, guys. There's really not much to it. I didn't really speak much on the human side of things because, well, really, while this movie has some good quality spots to it, it really lags on things. Like, the human plot doesn't really have much to go off of it. I mean, sure, you got Miki Sakusa, who plays a much bigger role in this one than she did in any of the other previous Heisei series Godzilla films she was in. Like in this one, she has much love for Godzilla and protects him from anybody who tries to destroy him. Mainly two other main characters, Yuki and Koji, who are soldiers of G-Force. Well, Koji is, and that's why he wants to kill Godzilla, thinking that's the best way to save the world. Yuki only does it because he wants revenge for Godzilla killing Goro Gondo from Godzilla vs. Biollante, who was his best friend. Even still, though, you can also see in this one that there's sort of that King Kong, and I forgot that woman's name back in King Kong, but Mickey and Godzilla had that same similar relationship that King Kong had with that woman. How's that? Well, at the end, when Mickey removed the amplifier that was put on Godzilla's head, he actually turned around and nodded to her as if thanking her for taking that off. Who am I kidding? Yeah, he was thanking her for taking that off. And yeah, even Mickey smiled back at him, and she was showing complete worry for him throughout the series. That shows how much she has come along with when she realized her feelings for Godzilla since Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. And as for other than that, though, I mean, Yuki was an interesting character because he actually showed some emotions, whereas most Godzilla characters who fight Godzilla don't show that much emotion. So he was good on that end. But other than that, really, there was nothing much else for the human plot. There was this little love story, but it was so blatantly there, like blurry. It was not that cool to be there. But other than that, though, the other good thing I will say about Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla was Space Godzilla himself. A very powerful foe. I mean, his telekinetic powers to be able to lift Godzilla up with his telekinesis, and not to mention using his crystals as missiles and like missile bombs. That was pretty cool. But that's pretty much really all there is to Godzilla versus Mega Godzilla. I mean, Space Godzilla. And it's not like the best film. It's an okay film. Not anywhere on my top 10 list, but one of those things on somewhere in the middle or so. But that'll be all for today, guys. And if you're enjoying my videos, click that like button, subscribe to the channel, be notified when I make more videos. And I'll see you guys in the next Godzilla Reviewthon! Until then, Mega Geek Mixer signing out. Bye!